Genesis Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Street TV show.
Hi, I'm Genesis Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I like to watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Streets TV show. And you should too.
We've seen nothing like this.
Hello, I'm Sharon Harper, host of Taking It to the Streets TV, and I'm glad you are tuning in. I want to share something with you, and if you have a loved one who may be a diabetic, make sure you stay on them to do what's right. I know sometimes we go astray because I'm a diabetic too. But make sure they're eating right, make sure they're making their doctor's appointments, because diabetes is nothing to play around with. It affects your eyesight, it affects your feet, and it also affects your kidney. Okay, so just be patient with your loved one, because I know sometimes it's hard. We want to eat what we want to eat. No, we shouldn't be eating it. But make sure you take them to the doctor for their checkups and ask the doctor questions about various things to help your loved ones. So I just want to share that with you. Get the diabetes under control before it's too late, okay? Now, I have this young man, my guest today, Javaris. Did I pronounce that right?
That is correct.
I want to thank you for coming on the show to talk about some different things, okay? You're no stranger to CAN TV because you've been around for a long time. So, but I know you're kind of like a stickler when it comes to customer service. And I can appreciate that, because I am too. So what's your take on good customer service?
I think superior customer service is when a person typically go above and beyond what the job requires.
And you have done that?
Correct.
Okay.
I can give you an example.
Okay.
I used to work for the Chicago Transit Authority, and one day I was done with work for the evening, and I was a customer service assistant. I was working at one of the L stops at the time, and I was speaking with another customer service assistant who was doing the midnight shift. So I was just standing there talking, and eventually I would get on the train to go home. But we were speaking, and a kid came up. He could have been maybe 17, 18. Mm-hmm. And he needed the blue line to go home in Logan Square somewhere. So he asked my coworker for travel instructions. So she gave him instructions. We were literally at the State and Lake station in the loop. He had to go to the Clark and Lake station to access the blue line. And from there, the blue line would take him directly to Logan Square. So we gave him instructions because we were on the south side of the street. He had to go to the north side of the street and take the train one stop. So we gave him instructions to go downstairs, cross the street, go up, take whichever train come on the other side, and just go one stop, and then go to the subway and take the blue line. So we gave him instructions, but there's two entries and exits on each side. So he went down one side and came back up on the same side, but just via a different entry.
Okay.
So he was like, no, you have to go completely across the street. He said, well, I went across the street. And he was about 17. He said he had just gotten into a fight with some friends, and I believe he was under the influence or intoxicated. But he was coherent enough to like know where he was and where he needed to go and things of that nature. So my friend gave him the instructions for a second time. He went back down one side and he came back up the other. I said, well, I'll take him across because he needs some assistance.
Yeah.
She was like, okay. So I took him across. Not only did I take him across, I waited for the train with him, put him on the train.
Okay.
We rode the train one stop to Clark and Lake. We got off. We went into the subway. I placed him on the blue. I waited with him again for the blue line, placed him on the blue line train.
Yeah.
And then I informed the operator where he was getting off, where he was going to alight, which station. And
you went up and beyond to do that. That was mighty nice of you to do
right.
that.
I mean, he was confused. And he just wanted to get home. Once his voice started cracking, like he was about to cry, I was like, I'll assist you.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. So, all right.
I can understand that. Shoot, I've been confused trying to, which L do I take? Do I take this one to go to the end of the line? So, but
Right,
that was
I mean,
nice
right,
because you won't find many who would do that.
Right. Now, surprisingly, people give CTA customer service personnel a lot of flack, but I've gone to New York and used their Metro. It's totally different. You walk up to them and you ask them a question. They don't leave their booths, and then they talk like on their public broadcast system or whatever, and it's like, how do you need assistance today? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Dude, I just need to get to like Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. It's totally different. Here at the CTA, they will come out the kiosk. They will assist you. People aren't as bad as it seems, or the media make it seems.
Okay.
We hands down, when it comes to public transportation across America, we are one of the best. One of the best.
Now, question: do you think they? Were you around during the time where they had other conductors on the L trains?
No, I didn't work for the CT at the time where they actually had conductors, but I remember seeing them when I was just a customer when I was like growing up.
Oh, okay. So, because I often wonder, would they ever bring them back?
If I was the president of the CTA, I would bring them back, but with very limited services.
Okay.
So possibly the blue or the red line, maybe overnights.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I think you need additional personnel to assist overnights on 24-hour service. But I mean, I don't see them bringing them back. And I probably wouldn't bring them back no more. I mean, if there's funding for it,
Right.
then of course. I mean, I'll
everybody
bring.
got funding
Right.
problem, but you can
Right.
find money if you look for it hard.
That's true. I mean, we've spent $1 billion on immigration so far. So I mean,
You know, but I remember when I was commuting from Washington to Chicago back and forth. They have these big old dogs. I mean, I thought they were mutant dogs.
Right.
I never seen dogs as big as the ones they had.
right,
And they had the security walking the L platform
right.
with these big old dogs. And I said, I know they ain't gonna be getting out of line with trying to go up against something like that. It was a dog so huge. I said, I never seen a dog like that. I've seen a lot of dogs, but this was a mutant type dog. It was big. It was big. And they had the mouth guard on this dog. So I guess they take it off when they had to.
The dog? Oh no, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, the CTA still have that service. I'm no longer with the CTA, but the CTA still have security personnel with dogs, and it's rumored or you hear people talking about it a lot at the CTA, that I believe the dogs are actually trained to like, they can like remove it themselves if they're given a order or command.
I didn't know.
I mean, I don't know
they
how
had
true that is.
dogs.
That's just something that I hear, but yeah.
Yeah, but them dogs are huge. I seen a lot of dogs, but I said, what are they feeding these dogs? I mean, they were so big, I call them mutant because that's what they look like. They were huge, and with nobody with common sense
They probably are well
wouldn't do
trained,
anything,
right? Well trained and well
wrong,
fed.
To go up against, the dog.
Right.
I wouldn't. I know that. I would have ran from the dog. I mean, I'm not lying. I wish I had a camera during that time to take that picture. I'm saying, what are they feeding these dogs? But it was so huge.
Right.
So, but I was just wondering, had they ever, did anything like that on the L's for here?
Yeah.
Okay.
CTA has that service.
Okay. Because nowadays you was hearing so much.
Yeah,
about stuff.
It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
Okay.
I took the train here. When I worked at the CTA in my last capacity, I was one of the only individuals in my department who still I took public transit to and from work every day.
Okay.
I take the L.
Now, if you had within your power or the authority to make changes with CTA, what would you do? What kind of change would you make?
I would probably, I can only speak to rail operations because I'm from rail ops. Prior to me joining, I started out as a CSA. Prior to me joining the CTA, most people were hired as combined rail operators. So you had many classifications. So although I started as a CSA or customer assistant, people who started back in the day, as we say, came in, they got the customer assistant qualification, they got a flagman qualification, they got a rail operator's qualification, they got a switchman's qualification, they got a timer qualification. I personally had acquired a CA, a flag, and a rail operator's qual. So I was slated to acquire the towerman qual, the person who route trains, throughout the system. But I had got a promotion into a different department and was never able to acquire it. Now there's levels to it. I think that, if I was in charge, hypothetically speaking, I would make that the door coming into the CTA more universal like it used to be. So that way, if we're short train operators, we have people with the qualification who can go out and move a train. Outside of that, I like the CTA really as it is.
You do?
Believe it or not. Yeah, I like the nostalgia of it. I like the loud noises of the train. I like
I like the conductor. To me, this is my opinion, I think it should be whatever the proper title, conductor, whatever, on the train that would go from train to train.
Right. The conductor used
like
to
that.
collect fare and they operated the door. And they did light troubleshooting to my knowledge, or, for mechanical issues and things like that. So now operators have to do everything, literally. So operators have to operate trains, they have to be engineers, they have to operate doors, they have to assist customers, they have to be a referee if some disturbance.
See, yeah.
And it's not, it's I assure you, and a lot of people who are watching this are going to be upset. A lot of the disturbances can actually be prevented. Depends on your level of customer service.
Okay, what kind of disturbance? Give me some examples.
Like a verbal altercation or something like that, or somebody
okay,
smoking
okay.
or something. You know, you got to train with 800 people.
Yeah.
What people have the tendency of doing is try to over diffuse situations,
Okay.
which isn't necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, you assess the situation. If you need to notify anybody, there's a process. You do your notifications or whatever. A lot of the situations are they just start out very small and they just end up very large for just several reasons. And ultimately, they just come down to the individuals who are in the midst of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes an employee can make it worse. Not all the time. But yeah, if you are a people's person, most people can handle situations. You know, if it's not a firearm or a weapon or something of that nature, it's not really, you know, it can be settled with the right words.
Are there a lot of women drivers on the train? I mean,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Actually, one gentleman just retired like a year and a half ago. He was around when there weren't any women operators. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because he's been there that long, or is it just women are just now getting into a lot of positions.
Just not getting into it. That's so sad. I mean,
No,
that's so
if
sad.
I had a daughter, I would prefer her not be
Well,
a train
of
operator.
course, yeah, I can see
I
that
mean,
father image.
right.
Yeah. No. You can't do that.
No. If I had a son, I would encourage my kid to work in any capacity at the CTA.
Right.
But if I had a daughter, I'll be like, if you can't work in office, I don't think you
well,
should.
you know,
be.
some of these daughters are more stronger than some of the men. You know, I mean.
But yeah, it's. I think good customer service, play a role in everything.
Yes, it does.
At the CTA and outside of the CTA. I mean, we were sharing earlier how.
Yeah, and talk about that.
Yeah. I'm a huge Starbucks guy. Starbucks guy.
Okay.
But 70 to 75% of the reason I go into my specific Starbucks, and I got a few of them, is because of customer service.
Really?
I really. I
And
mean,
not
the
the
drinks.
coffee,
The
and
drinks
not the
are
coffee?
the drinks are okay, but I mean, I just like how I like walking into a business and someone address you by your name.
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah, and they remember your name.
Oh
See,
yeah.
that's key.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah. And then I had a ritual. I would take the train to work. I would get off at Starbucks. I go into my Starbucks, and it helps the day start.
okay.
Being greeted, it
Right.
really. And then I will walk to my office building, but I will walk past this Walgreens, and I got to know them very well. I would literally go into the Walgreens, not needing anything, and I would just go in and buy a few items just to talk to the associates and things of that nature, because they were, people know you and they get to know you over years and in routines and things of that nature. And it's like, I knew the stores, even if I didn't know where the item were, they were like, what you looking for, and blah, blah, blah. They would even recommend, well, I'm looking for this because I've seen online that this is good for this. And then they were like, oh no, I mean, it's good, but we also have this, which is, in my opinion, much better.
Right.
And you should try this.
Right.
And it helped me with this and blah, blah, blah. And things of that nature. I was at City Hall a few weeks ago, and there were some security guards there who were directing people to go where they need to go, and I had to get in line to deal with some passport issues and stuff of that nature. But the security guards, when you think of a security guard, you think of someone who literally who protects the building or the area.
Right. Surrounding area.
So one of the security guards approached me. It was three brothers, and was like, so what you here for? I was like, well, I'm trying to do this. He was like, oh yeah, you do this. And then he gave me a recommendation on something that I can do online that's a lot faster than one of the process or one part of the process that they would recommend that a lot of people do physically.
Right.
And I'm more of a physical person, although online is
Okay.
cool. But I get up, I just stroll around and just let the wind blow me around.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was just so informative about things. I'm like, how did you even know the inner operations of that department? And you weren't trained on it because you're in your capacity. But like just talking to other customers, observing operations. I mean, he is sitting there for 8 hours. So after sitting and listening and watching for 8 hours, I guess you tend to pick up some things. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
He was hungry. He was eager to
he
learn.
was. I
'Cause he
mean,
didn't have to.
I was like,
He didn't have to, but he.
you shouldn't even be a security guard. You
Right,
should
right.
probably be in there
Yeah.
assisting residents with
Right.
city services and things of that nature. But I mean, people play their parts.
Yeah, they do.
It's all a
do.
big orchestra, and we all play our certain instruments. And he played his instrument, but he was multi-talented. I guess he could play 3 or 4 instruments, metaphorically speaking. So
Yeah, but that was good. I mean, when you find people like that. you
yeah,
know,
and you
in
know
this
what?
day and age, you know.
It's customer service really, in my opinion, can't be taught to a certain extent. Like me accompanying the guy.
I think it can.
Well, accompanying the guy to to the next stop to put him on a train and things of that nature.
Okay.
CTA didn't teach me anything about customer service,
Okay.
believe it or not. And I did extensive training with him. What CTA taught me was how to diffuse situations.
Okay.
I think superior customer service or individuals who possess superior customer service are just individuals who are just bubbly, people who are personable, people
Right.
who are
Right.
just cut a certain way.
Right, because everybody can't do
Because
it.
everybody can't do it. CTA taught me more on how their operating procedures should be held,
Okay.
far as from a standard perspective on like how to operate different things and things of that nature. I mean, they give you little things about how to,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
ma'am, and no, ma'am, and blah blah blah. But I think ultimately, people who possess those skills just have those skills, and some people who don't, they get like, your standard corporate training in
Right.
customer service,
Right.
and eventually you would know who is someone who's like really good at customer service and someone who's just
Because
like
everybody's not good at customer
No.
service.
no. I can literally. I mean, there's been instances where I'm not paying attention on my phone, walking down the street. I almost got ran over by several cars, bicycles, and a CTA bus out of all things. Or just run into situations. Somebody spilled something on my shoes, somebody stepped on my feet, somebody bumped into me while I'm walking down the street or, on a
You
train.
don't do
or,
that now, do you?
What?
What you just said, not paying attention and stuff like that.
Unfortunately, yes. But that's a whole nother story. But if I walk into a situation on the street, when I go where I'm going, that will have no bearing on what I'm doing,
Okay.
when I arrive at whatever I had intentions on going. I mean, you have to be able to black out those things.
You do.
My confrontation on the street has nothing to do with you. I would not come out and that would not spill onto you. That's superior customer service.
So what would you suggest to people who may be lacking some in good customer service skills?
I would start by watching YouTube videos. You can find everything on YouTube.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I would start with
Okay.
YouTube. You would need to learn how to be personable. I mean,
Okay.
it's something that it's just ingrained in you as you grow.
Yeah.
I mean, there has to be a foundation. 30, I couldn't start a career in customer service at 36. You know, if
Yeah.
I was a cement layer from 16 to 36 and then
Right.
decided to go into it, I mean, you can do it, but it won't be like someone who's worked in customer service for several years,
Okay.
plus a person who love customer service. See, I love customer service.
Okay.
It's I'm corny like that. I just want to see you happy. So whatever makes you happy,
Okay.
I'm going to try to do it.
Well, I'm gonna have to bring you back on again, and so you can share some other things with us. And I want to
Okay.
thank you for taking time out of your schedule because you have really blossomed.
Okay. Thank you.
You have really blossomed, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You took time to come on and share some information with us. So
Okay.
just keep doing what you're doing until the next time when you come on, okay?
Not a problem.
Okay.
Always a pleasure.
So I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Taking It to the Streets. And be safe out there. Pay attention, stay focused. Be aware of your environment at all times. Keep that in mind. Bye for now.
Genesis Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Street TV show.
Hi, I'm Genesis Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I like to watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Streets TV show. And you should too.
We've seen nothing.